Yo, welcome back to Evil Scuba Diver. Today, we're talking about everything I listened to in April. I appreciate you for clicking on the video. We're going to go into it. First thing I want to say, though, hopefully you don't mind, we got some changes. We got some changes I need to discuss with y'all. One, I recorded this video in multiple parts. So the albums I listened to at the beginning of the month, I recorded them sooner after I listened to them. So I recorded like a portion of this video April 8th, and then April 15th, and etc., and etc. So that way you get more fresh opinions. But we're doing a big change here. No more Fortnite. At least for this month, no more Fortnite this month. I was feeling like a Minecraft month. I don't know what it was. The Minecraft movie came out on my For You page. A lot of people just started posting their worlds and their builds, and I was like, damn, that looks cool. I have a world from like a year and a half ago. I should probably do some stuff on that and just like see what I can do. You know what I mean? So that's the vibe of this month. It's a Minecraft month. There's something in the air, dude. Maybe it's the movie that came out. Let's go into it right now. Minecraft Volume Beta by C418. Did a full listen to this one. When I say full listen, I don't mean that lightly. I mean I listened to all 2 hours and 30 minutes of this album. To say this was a really enriching experience is sort of understatement. This actually sort of reminded me of. Hold up, actually. I almost forgot, bro. I gotta be evil. What was I saying? I was saying this album it reminded me of the beauty of music. Because just the fact that I can close my eyes to this album and it immediately transports me back to my childhood super flat world where I would just like fly around and dump lava on like villages I found and stuff like that. And I can see the slimes bouncing everywhere just randomly. It transports me there when I listen to this album. Songs like Area Mass, songs like Tazwell. Tazwell is one I've come back to a lot of times, just like as a song. You know what I mean? Because it's so weird. The first 4 minutes are the very haunting ambient part of it, and the last 4 minutes are just like the explosion of beautiful melodies and just like just wistfulness, man. C418, I think, is going down in history for this one. This one and the Alpha soundtrack. The Alpha soundtrack, the first one, the cube-looking one, that's the one people really sort of gravitate to, and I can understand. It's like the Minecraft music, right? But Volume Beta is like the depressed, sedated older brother of the Alpha soundtrack. I mean, there's a lot of more haunting sounds on here. It's sampling stuff from the original soundtrack and then making them all decrepit and distorted and like played through like a vinyl recorder. It's darker, it's more haunted, it's like the nether to the overworld in Minecraft terms. Also, the Minecraft movie came out. I saw that with my friends. That was bad, honestly. I have my own idea for a Minecraft movie, man. It would be like a 2-hour, 30-minute Peter Jackson-esque odyssey about like existentialism, and like the movie would start with Steve just spawning in and like 20 minutes of ambient, like actual playing Minecraft and stuff like that, and he would be like reckoning his whole reality the whole time throughout the whole movie. It'd have themes of existentialism and being a journeyman and all that. So it would be awesome. But alas, we get cubic Jumanji, flint and steel. You know what I mean? It should have been more of a visceral movie instead of just like brain rot. I would have had a different vision for it, and I have such a potent vision for it too, which kind of sucks because I'm 20. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna make the Minecraft movie. So it's whatever. I'm getting on a tangent. Holy shit. But yeah, just a really dope ambient album. Makes me want to make some more ambient music too. I've been crafting some ambient tunes in my DAW and stuff like that, and just really inspiring in that regard. So let's keep going. Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots by the Flaming Lips. Psych rock classic. Dave Friedman on the mix. My favorite mixer master. He did Oracular Spectacular. He did the Flaming Lips albums. He did Loss of Life as well. The new every MGMT album except Congratulations. That dude is just the MVP of my music taste. One thing I'll say about Yoshimi though, I love this album. It's really cool. I cannot get behind Wayne Coyne's voice, the main vocalist. I'm sorry. I've tried to get past it. I've tried to ignore it. I've tried to take it as a stylistic choice. I've tried to listen to it as like, oh, he's having fun. I've tried to listen to it as like, oh, he's being satirical. I've tried every way of looking at his voice possible. I just can't really get into it. It takes me out of certain songs, man. It just sounds like he's doing like a parody karaoke thing on a lot of this stuff, and it really takes me out of the wistful sort of experience that could be psychedelic rock, Flaming Lips, awesome extravaganza. You know what I mean? I will say that 4-track run at the start is magnificent. I wish the other songs were fleshed out, like Fight Test through Yoshimi. Like that stuff is beautiful. The transitions, the weird experimental ideas. Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, that like being an instrumental synth solo, like heavy rock, using like robotic glips and gloops as like the hard riffs and stuff like that. It's wild ideas. Gotta love it. Wish the other songs were fleshed out a bit more. I do like Do You Realize a lot though. I mean, Dave Friedman, oh my gosh, the way you mixed those guitars to make them sound almost like they are like sharp swords, like getting sharpened in both of my ears. It really creates a visceral sort of like beautiful energy where I can just look at the sunset and maybe shed a tear to this song. song or something. And I respect this album a lot for getting so weird with its digital sounds, like on Fight Test and on Sympathy 2001. They didn't have to get so weird with it, you know what I mean? That could have been some pretty solid psych rock tunes, but they get weird with the drums and they syncopate stuff and they add like little flanges of guitar fuzz or analog fuzz and stuff like that. And you know, the Flaming Lips are really inspiring for that reason, because they've never been commercial. They've always just released what they wanted to make. They've made, you know, storybook albums where there's no lyrics. They've made instrumental albums. They've made concept albums. They've made albums that people don't want to listen to ever again. They've made remix albums. They made an album with like Miley Cyrus, I think. They just do what they want to do and they don't care. And that's hella inspiring. It's so nice. Sometimes it's a little bit rough because when you don't care about how your vocals sound on some of these songs, it's like, oh my gosh, I wish you did. But the Flaming Lips are making some interesting psych rock fun that is just great to look back on from time to time. So let's keep going. The Crux by Joe. I've been following Joe for a bit. Ever since 2020 came out, I've been following him. I've been following him since that album dropped. And then he dropped Decide, which was like an 80s sort of maximalist, sort of futuristic experience. And now he's coming back with The Crux, which is hearkening a lot of themes from the 80s, 70s. I'm getting Led Zeppelin. I'm getting a lot of The Cars. Very like dad rock, classic dad rock influence, yacht rock. Stuff you'd hear on the radio sandwiched between like a Jerry Rafferty song and maybe like Dire Straits or something like that. And it's so easy to bake this down into like a new 80s pop album for the radio for 2025, but it's so much more than that. Joe, in his vocal stems and his vocal runs, they're adding so much personality. He's got a lot of like talk singing sort of songs on here too, which really makes his personality and the way he's thinking about things shine. You can also tell he just loves music, like Gaptooth Smile. That's like really like almost like Talking Heads, The Clash, London Calling sort of vibe going on a little bit too. I will say there's some points in this record where it's produced a little bit like semi like toned down. I wish they would have gotten a little bit more bright with some of the stuff they're doing, but it works well enough. I'm really enjoying it. Potion got hate when it dropped. I saw a lot of people on like my friends, you know, university sort of Instagram story ecosystem just saying like Potion, like, oh, that's a weird departure. I wish Joe stuck to his sound. I disagree heavily. Potion's probably one of my favorite songs in this album. The vocal stems, the vocal runs he's doing on this thing are so cheerful, so happy, so full of energy. They're campy, but they're sweet. You know what I mean? The way the guitars envelop the vocals and the drums come in, they're still hard, but it keeps like the soft spoken, like meek presentation of the song at its core, like perfect. Like, it's a beautiful song. The chorus sounds like Joe's channeling like a meek, like mutated Bob Dylan or something. You know what I mean? And I just such an interesting choice. Like, this song is so weird. The vocals are pitched up a little bit too. It's like a lot of different choices going on in here that all blend to me, and I get it. I get the full realized vision. As for the whole album, it's a lot slower than I would have thought. A song like Egg is pretty much, I don't know, it's almost like a purgatory of different ideas, and this is kind of where I get into the cons a little bit. Like a song like Egg is ambitious, but it moves very janky. It goes through a lot of different ebbs and flows, and it builds up to a point you think it's about to explode, and then it takes you back down. I wish some songs would just explode forth and just be like awesome, you know what I mean? Like that, I had the same issue with On and On off of Decide. Like, that song could build into a beautiful place, but it decides not to, just because that's the decision that Joe tends to make, and it's part of his style, but I wish it wasn't sometimes. Also, Charlie's Garden, people like it. I don't really like it that much. It's a Beatles song. It's not like doing a Beatles thing. It is a Beatles song. You took a little spark of inspiration from the Beatles, and instead of just taking that spark and branching it into a new fire, you said, let's just make the whole thing a Beatles fire. You know what I mean? You have the trumpets, you have the bouncy pianos, you have the vocal inflections of like a Sgt. Pepper song. It's the Beatles, man. It's a mixed bag because I love this album. The production choices are really cool. I think it's going to be really fun to listen back to in the summer over and over again, but like then again, some songs are just like not really that awesome to me. And that's how I feel about that new Joe album. So let me know your thoughts as well. Let's keep going. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. The reason I wanted to listen to this album was because I was listening to Dreams over and over. That single. It was raining out, it was thunder, and thunder only happens when it rains. And I was like, let's just put that song on. You know what I mean? And I just listened to it like 5 times over. I was going to listen to whatever album had Dreams on it, and it was Rumors. And it was really awesome. I didn't know how many classics were on this album. Low-key didn't even know that You Can Go Your Own Way was Fleetwood Mac. I know that's crazy, but in my head I thought maybe it was like REO Speedwagon. I know that's probably wild for people out there. I wasn't really familiar with Fleetwood Mac's game. I've heard The Chain, you know what I mean? I've heard stuff like that. I've heard Dreams, obviously, but I haven't been acquainted. I haven't really listened to this album in full, and then I did. They have like a really Western feeling, through line finding this album, like on The Chain and on Gold Dust Woman, you have these really like outlaw Western sounding songs, like a tumbleweed is just rolling through my headphones or something. But then you got like the first song, which is like overly campy folk stuff, and the third song I believe is like an acoustic picked ballad. It's all over the place, but I didn't know how folky Fleetwood Mac got. I really haven't been acquainted, like I said, so this was kind of a surprising album. It's like, oh, this is Fleetwood Mac, this is their sound. I think it's like the highest selling Mechanical royalty album of all time, like it sold the most vinyls over time. That checks out, it's up to par. But next album, Forever How Long by Black Country New Road. I wrote this album sounds very Amish, very like like Joanna Newsom, romantic medieval period, olive branches, olive gardens in Europe, sort of just like wood floors, like a Ethel Cain album cover. I don't know, when it comes to this album Forever How Long, I wish it had a different album cover. I picture like a Baroque brown green sort of you know, like candlelit vibe, especially with the title track, which is, I mean, that's got some mystical stuff in there. I'm not really sure how to break it down. It's a story about a girl waking up on this like secluded little Amish farm thing. That's kind of what I picture in my head. And this girl, she goes outside and she fantasizes about tripping on leaves and falling and crushing her head. And the song ends with like, I see my dad's bald spot, he's watching TV, he turns it off, he goes to bed, I light a candle, the day is ending, it's only 5 o'clock. Which is like, I don't even know. It feels like the same vibe you would get from like going to bed on a Sunday and you got like school for the next week, like in high school. You know, it's like a very melancholic, depressive, like, this is my life, this is what I have to go through. It's a weird vibe I can't exactly tangibly explain, and I wish the album cover explained it more for me too, you know what I mean? Because I'm seeing a vision here, but the album cover isn't giving me anything that matches. Let me talk about the instrumentation though, because it jumps all over the place, it's insane. This is their most Adderall-infused album, I feel like. Black Country New Road is really coming into their own with like compositions, you know what I mean? There are moments where the time signature will just change and the drums will just go a completely different direction, and even if you think you're getting put into a nice pocket with like a beat or a drum beat or something, it's always a little bit janky, always a little bit off. There's always like somebody playing a different note that's not really in the same scale that you would think you would want to hear melodically, and there's always like a kick being placed in a different place than you would have thought, and the snare doesn't hit when you think it will, and it's very off, and I think that's why it's going to be really good for future listens, because you get to really entrench yourself in these quirky pockets. Like the pockets themselves of musicality, they have like a personality to them, very musical theater. I think I said that. And this is a really sick album. I like this more than their first one. I'm not sure about Ants from Up There. I don't know how that matches, but Ants from Up There, if that was like taking a trip to your grandma's house, this is like going back in time to when your grandma was a kid and you were following her in her story and her like going outside and tending the garden and churning, you know, butter and stuff like that. You know, they're a completely new band now without Isaac Wood, and I'm here for it. You know what I mean? They are still musically inclined, they're musically talented, they are willing to get weird as hell, but let's keep going. Bobbery by Otto Benson. This is an electronic album that kind of sounds like the Gang Beasts soundtrack combined with like JPEG Mafia's weird way of making glitchy stuff. You know, the way Otto Benson is using compressors in his DAW to make just these weird warbly sounds pop out at you in the way they do is very intentional, but also at the same time, the whole project's kind of amateur. There are moments where it just seems like he's just like playing stuff on a keyboard for fun, for like just for shits and giggles, you know what I mean? And that's music. I mean, you can do that. I'm here for shits and giggles, you know what I mean? I'm not critiquing it at all. I think it actually gives it charm. I just want to say that is something I am noticing. But you know, there's personality, it's interesting. This seems like something you would find on like Bandcamp with like 10 plays on each song, or maybe something you'd find on Newgrounds, low key. This sounds like a Newgrounds core album, but I listened to it, it was 30 minutes, and I had a decent time with it, you know what I mean? So yeah. Next album, Revenge Seekers by Jane Remover. I did listen to this in the car, and with that comes a con, because I cannot really understand what Jane Remover, I can't understand what she's saying on most of these songs, low key. I have to like really listen back in headphones and stuff like that to pick out what she's doing, because this is a trap rage like induced album, but with Jane Remover's production style and her hyperpop roots, she takes it to another level. I think like EDM and hyperpop producers and stuff like that really kind of have like a knack for creating visceral energy, because really what they're focused on is making like MIDI kicks and MIDI snares as visceral and energetic as possible through their use of like saturation and VSTs and compressors. And I think what Jane Remover here is doing is taking their a rage sound that is blowing up so heavy with like the opium crowd and stuff like that, and she's using her knowledge on how to make maximalist hyperpop to make rage music really intrinsic and like almost EDM core. There's songs where her ad-libs are her just screaming, and then she just like loops it until it turns into a distorted like bit crushed blissful thing. You have an EDM beat where she's sampling her own bit crush scream for like 2 minutes, and then like it fades back out and goes into like a McGee inspired like flared thing. It's a wild ride. I don't know if you can tell, I got a lot of thoughts flowing through my head, and I don't really have enough mouths to say them all at the same time, all with the same clarity. I will say Revenge Seekers does get pretty samey throughout the experience. Like, it's rage, you know what I mean? It's like 40-50 minutes of rage beats and EDM infused stuff, but like I said, man, it's so well produced, like, and there's so many production ideas that it's consistently still like hitting, you know what I mean? Even if she's doing the same vocal runs and the same vocal melodies, and she's using the same sort of like pop styled vocal flavor, like every song has something new about it. Turn Up or Die is a very different experience than Psycho Boost with Danny Brown, which is my favorite song on the record, by the way. Psycho Boost, oh my gosh, so many just like drops. You think it can't hit any harder, and then it just somehow does. I don't know, there are songs in this album where I feel like I am, in the cockpit of one of those motorcycle racing games you see in the arcade where they like build the motorcycle for you, and you're just sort of like swaying there, and you're like watching the screen as you on the motorcycle in real life. Or you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like at like bowling alleys and stuff. I mean, there's even like ad libs in here where like she's throwing in samples of people saying like match point and like I make it look easy and stuff like that. I know this for a fact. She samples the ping noise when you ping like a legendary scar in Fortnite. I would never lie to you. And in doing so, the production just has a hell of a lot of personality. A lot of these rage albums, like Music, like, Ken Carson, Great Chaos, the whole pull of them is like, we're trying to make something sound visceral so I can act cool in the background and let my star power, of being like a nonchalant person really shine against these hard rage beats or whatever. And I'm so bored of that. There's no personality in there. It's not enough to just give me like a hard beat. You got to do something elevated. And that's what Jane Remover does. Even though it's not just rage music, it's like Geometry Dash core at some point. Still a wild ride that uses this rage trend to its best ability. I'm talking a lot and I can't formulate a word. It's like I'm sawed off or something. I apologize, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. Let's keep going. Can't Be Creep Boy / Sorry Not Sorry. This is a 2-pack from Lil Yachty and the rapper V's. I've never heard of V's, but he collabs with Lil Yachty on these 2 tracks. Just thought I'd talk about them because these are just low effort, bad produced songs, like just not good. Like I listened to these, and the first thought that went through my head, I swear to God, the first thought was there were 5 different ways that you could have taken these like stems and mixed them in a more visceral way. You have Lil Yachty vocals, hi-hat, trap, snare, sample, 808. You could have mixed it 5 different ways to make it sound better, and you just didn't. It's 2 songs. Both of the songs have beat switches, so there's 4 beats on this thing technically, and they're so anticlimactic and just not hitting. When a beat switches, and I viscerally just feel like, oh my God, a beat switch. Like, what are we doing? You're making me feel bored. You're making me roll my eyes at your effort, and that's because you're not giving me effort. You're just giving me something that's just like, that's what you think I want. You know what I mean? Come on now, man. Like, give me something better. Lil Yachty. You know what I mean? Yachty needs to re-up with some more artistic shit soon. I really fear that Let's Start Here was the peak, and then like the Tesla EP came and went, and that was cool, and then Bad Cameo came and went, and that was experimental, but it wasn't really a great album, you know what I mean? And it's like, I want him to just really show out again. I really want him to go hard. That really sucks to say. I don't like being a negative person, or maybe I do because of these things, but you know what I mean. These, good luck to you, man. I don't really know you as a rapper. I don't know you as an artist yet. I hope you do some cool stuff. This was just not hitting for me. Can't Be Creep Boy, Sorry Not Sorry. I'm sorry not sorry for not liking it, right? So let's keep going. I might be wrong. The live EP by Radiohead. Listen to this one literally less than 2 hours ago, so this is pretty fresh. And I listened to it because it was just there. It was an option. It was in the recommended, you know what I mean? And album cover looked cool type shit. And 40 minutes of live songs from Kid A, from Amnesiac. True Love Waits also is the end of this EP, recorded way back before even A Moon-Shaped Pool was even an inkling of an idea, before Hail to the Thief was an inkling of an idea. And the fact that it caps off their discography so far, that's a beautiful moment, a beautiful way to end a discography. If this is the end of their discography, hopefully not, but so far it's kind of what it's feeling like. But as for the rest of the EP, man, it's so sick to hear how they pull off the Kid A and Amnesiac stuff live, because you would think that album just is sort of supposed to exist on like the digital world or like the CDs or something. It's just so weird. It doesn't seem like a live album, but they reinvent the songs in a live context in a way that actually had me really excited to listen to Amnesiac shit. When I hear songs like I Might Be Wrong and Spinning Plates, like the piano ballad version without the warbled vocals, and it's just like a 2-minute little interlude thing, it really opens me up to the fact that like this is a really, really creative, inspiring era from Radiohead, the Kid A Amnesiac period. It combines them more holistically for me. I don't think of Kid A and Amnesiac as separate anymore after hearing this EP, which is something I can admit to with humility. It's like last month I kind of ripped on Amnesiac, but now I'm hearing this and I'm like, I understand this is sort of the same pocket, the same vibe, the same aura of musical creativeness, because in the live context they're building on them with like different layers and different synths and different like progressions. Like stuff is sounding more aggressive. They're warbling out Tom York's vocals on top of I Might Be Wrong and adding lasers I don't hear in the studio version and stuff like that. Like they really sort of bring it up a little bit. Idiotech also starts with really janky and then it fits together. It's like a puzzle falling into place. Everything in its right place. They started out with like shakers and stuff like that, and the way everything in its right place ends live is way more aggressive. It builds and builds and builds, and Tom York's vocals are distorted and they're just swaying in and out of your headphones, and it turns into like a very aggressive ending more than the album version. I thought that was a really cool just like rework for the song too to hear, you know what I mean? I never really tuned into live EPs, live songs, live recordings and stuff like that. This was just sort of a spur of the moment, okay, let's try it out, and man, we got a lot out of it. It makes me think of Amnesiac as a better album. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's see what I listen to later in this month. Next album, Asia by Steely Dan. People say this is the best mixed mastered album of all time. Like they use it in record stores to like promote vinyl players and shit like that. I could see why. There's so much care for each instrument in the mix. I know like Donald Fagen, Walter Becker, they were like complete like OCD heads when it came to how their music sounded. Like they would, for each song on this album, they would like rotate bands pretty much. Like different bassist, different drummer, different whatever for whatever style they wanted to accomplish on each individual song, right? And this might be crazy to first hear and digest, but I really do think that Walter Becker, Donald Fagen are like modern day Beethoven, except there's two of them, and they have a whole assortment of instruments to use in their compositions instead of just piano. They get to mess around with drums and chord changes and lyrical abilities and like stories and stuff like that, and they get to really paint worlds. As music evolves, I feel like we got to give people their flowers. Like what's stopping us from calling Steely Dan like modern day like composers? You know what I mean? Like they were just composing with drums and electric guitars and acoustic stuff and saxophone, and it's still classy. Like it really feels like there's care and attention to each of these songs in a way that we don't really get anymore with albums, which is kind of sad, but also it makes stuff like this stand out. So that's what I think of Asia this time around. Just been listening to it a lot. Home at Last is a really dope song too, and let's just keep going. Permanent Pleasure by Joywave. This album sucks. This album's not good at all. It's like really bad. Joywave was one of my favorite bands from the past. They released an album called How Do You Feel Now, which is their best one. It's their first one, of course, and then they released this album called Content or Content right after that, and it was like their Kid A moment, experimental moment, really industrial, kind of jazzy at some points, but it fell flat on its face and nobody liked it. So then they transitioned into more like commercial radio target friendly music after that, and they got a bag from it, and I think they're getting a bag from this one too, but it's not good. It doesn't sound good. Like just soulless, absolutely soulless, because what they're trying to do on this album, like I'll give it to them this, they're trying to make something more aggressive. Like they're using more grungy sounding guitars. They're using stuff that sounds a little bit more like 90s flavored, you know what I mean? But it's still produced like a Target album. So all these riffs, all these different like grungy explosive moments just sound like sedated and neutered. It's like you got your cat neutered at like the vet's office and now all he does is just lay around all day. Like that's this album, and the album cover fits low key. I don't know. This album is also when the lineup was down to 3 people. Like How Do You Feel Now was 5 band members, Permanent Pleasures 3 members. This is borderline like an AJR core sounding album. AJR. You know, like that band. And if you don't believe me, listen to the song He's Back. Just listen to it. I think it's like track 3, track 4. Listen to the song He's Back. And try not to feel depressed that it's out and exists and it's released and people put their names to it and there's like credit attached to it. Like it fills me with dread. You know what? Let me just play a little bit. Let me just play. Like come on. Like this is insane. Like it actually, it makes me depressed hearing it. And the lyrics are, won't you count backwards from thry, like 3, to try and rhyme it with alive. They could have said 5. They could have said 5. Okay, let's keep going before I actually implode. The Lucro Sushio album by the Mars Volta. First Mars Volta album I listened to. I know they're like Psych Rock Legends or something like that. They make really hardcore experiential transition, all one song album sort of experiences, right? This is my first one, and yeah, it transitions perfectly. It's literally one song. I was like 3 songs into this thing, and I realized, oh wait, we're just doing some fluid shit here. This is awesome. And it's jazzy in a very interesting way. Like there's a lot of Latin percussions, a lot of weird industrial moments too. Like they're combining ambient stuff in here. The vocals are off as hell. Like they're just not, they don't fit into the songs. I don't really get anything out of them. I really wish the vocals were better, but whatever, you know what I mean? It's still an interesting time. But this album is so like transition-y and one songy that like there are moments where they'll do like reprises of songs from the track list you heard like 20 minutes ago in this 1 hour runtime. So there's like the same choruses on multiple songs of the same album. Don't exactly know how I feel about that because the one chorus they stick with, while it does kind of stick in my head, it's like one chorus. You know, you could have had a lot more different melodies, a lot more different ideas packed into an album, and you just chose to kind of sprinkle the same melody across a 55-minute runtime. I don't know. Also, this album has like a lot of, I think this is Italian language, Lucro Sushio, that sounds like something, maybe Greek probably too. Could be cursive for all I know. Don't really know what the titles mean at all, but I really kind of enjoyed the experience of, hey, let's just give you a linear, you know, like one song, pretty much 55-minute thing, split into little chunks with little weird little mystical titles and stuff like that. You have no idea what it comes off very mystical. The vocals do bring it down. It doesn't really make it like an enchanting album. It makes it more like they're trying to do something mystical, not like I'm enamored by the mysticality of this. You know what I mean? So nice time, listen in the car type shit. And yeah, let's keep going. Pagan Poetry EP by Bjork. Low Key Don't Hate Me is my first Bjork listen, and I liked it a lot. One thing I like about this EP and Bjork by extension is she really emulates the sound of like when you're watching like a sci-fi movie where they're on like a different planet and there's like a seedy underbelly city or something like Blade Runner 2049, and like the characters walking down the alleyways and stuff, and there's a bunch of bars playing different sci-fi cultural music and stuff like that. Like this is the culture of this alien planet, is that what this music sounds like, and it's this weird sci-fi auto-tuned like tribal sounding thing. Like that's kind of what Bjork does. Like she's the closest thing we have to alien music. The second song on here, Domestica, has really interesting themes too. It's literally a song about her ranting and raving and like being very anxious about losing her keys over this like really weird experimental instrumental. And the whole song is sort of covered in this weird satirical melodramatic energy of like, I'm losing my keys, this sucks, this is the worst thing I've ever experienced, or at least that's the tone I sort of get from it. And the title being Domestica actually adds a lot, I think, because it kind of showcases, at least to me, what the biggest fear is of our lives if we're like domesticated. You know what I mean? Like, is the biggest thing we have to worry about losing our keys, or like we can't find the right pair of shoes for the day or something? I mean, there's people in the world out there who don't have food. There's people in the world out there who are dying in war. And that's kind of what this song reads to me as, is like, oh, how good we have it that we stress out about our keys being lost. You know what I mean? That's our biggest stressor in life. So that was a really cool moment. And also the third song, the last song on this thing, is just ambient. It's just an ambient instrumental. Bjork's not even present on it, which really caught me off guard because I didn't know Bjork was like a vibe master like that. Like, she doesn't even care if she's on the song. She just wants to give you an ambient vibe to end this little EP. It's 2 songs and 1 ambient thing at the end. Like, that's cool to me. That's awesome. That showcases that she's really about the vibe more than she is about like her as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Bjork, here's what I sound like. It's like, no, we're gonna curate a little pocket for you real quick. I don't really, if I'm not needed in the pocket, I'm not needed, but here's a cool pocket. You know what I mean? Really cool, really awesome, and it's the reason I listened to this next album coming up here, so let's talk about that one. Homogenic by Bjork. This is a full album by Bjork I listened to. My first full Bjork album listen. Yay! 1990 97, and it sounds awesome. It sounds low-key better than Kid A in 2001, because I feel like they have sort of the similar style, like very industrial, ambient sort of textures going on with the instrumentals. Hunter is so wild, that weird percussion that like flares up and down in that one ear. It's like a 2K to 3K hertz high-end sort of flavor going on, maybe a little bit more like 5K, 6K flavor, and it just sort of warbles in and out and just like almost like builds up and builds down, and it's this weird like snare roll type of thing. And man, let's talk about the vocals though. Hold up. They're so expressive. They have so much personality to them too. There are moments where she's like almost like croaking and like breathing really heavily, and like she sounds exasperated on some of these songs over the most orchestral, experimental, synthy shit. Like songs like Alarm Call, songs like Hunter, which I mentioned before. Alarm Call is my favorite. That's such a sick chorus too. The lyrics are very witchy, very interesting. Like Hunter, she's talking about like, I am a hunter and I hunt for my family and I will provide, right? And she's going off in like a Northman style. I mean, she was in the Northman. She played a character in the Northman, but she gives me a lot of Robert Eggers vibes, or like Brave, that one animated movie. Scotland vibes are pretty present. There's a song on here where legitimately there's a bagpipe just playing out the outro after you get this whole ambient like sort of experimental like fuck shit type of thing. You just have like a bagpipe come in and just like soothe you out. Like that's pretty sick. That's a cool choice. And yeah, the highlight of this album is just it's so weird, it's so experimental, but it hits on all fronts and it doesn't lose its personality. It's not pretentious. It's actually really fun. It's really fun to listen to. Like I feel like if you see this album cover and you don't know anything about Bjork and you just think she's sort of this like mystical weird sort of artist, like you might not really be into it like just seeing it like off of presentation. But if you really dive into this thing, it's 44 minutes, it's quick, it's fast, it's fun. Like there's a lot of personality in here. Like the way she's performing some of these lyrics and giving us some of these melodies, it almost feels like she's winking at the camera. Like I know how absurd this experience is. This is the wildest thing you're probably hearing at the moment, you know what I mean? I understand that, and I'm gonna give you a little bit more with the vocal inflection. Like there's a self-awareness to how absurd this thing is. It's really sick. I really walked away from this album just like, oh, this is more personality than I would have thought from somebody who I thought was like this mystical, like witchy creature in the music realm or whatever. But no, this is pretty sick, pretty fun time, short listen, good stuff. All My Heroes Are Cornballs by JPEG Mafia. Really sick album. Ran my high school years low-key. Just like, oh my god, you're never gonna hear an album like this ever again. It's like being thrown into a trash compactor for what, like a solid 50 minutes. This is his best album in my opinion. I know people might go Lay Down My Life or Offline. Offline's pretty cool too, but man, All My Heroes Are Cornballs has like a soft space in my heart. It's like a little worm that burrowed in my apple heart. You know what I mean? It just sits there and it smiles at me when I look down in it. You know what I mean? One thing I'm picking up this listen around is, after listening to that C418 album that I talked about earlier, is like there's a Venn diagram sort of thing going on with JPEG Mafia production and C418 production, the Minecraft beta soundtrack. Like I'll listen to a song like Poppy I Missed You, the last song on the album, by the way, crazy title, love the title, and it like that instrumental feels like it could land on the Minecraft beta soundtrack. Like put yourself in that context next time you listen to Poppy I Missed You. Like what if this instrumental was playing as I was like, just the instrumental. What if the instrumental was playing as I was like in the nether, like killing wither skeletons in the nether fortress? I think that's just what comes with JPEG Mafia when you're making weird, haunted, ambient shit. Because that's where the Venn diagram lies there. C418's Minecraft beta and All My Heroes Are Cornballs kind of lean into this haunted, ambient pocket at certain moments. And that's kind of where I'm pulling the similarities there from. As for like the whole album, JPEG Mafia in an interview said that like this was his most unedited. Like he would just he made like 100 songs for this thing, picked out his favorites, and just didn't really edit them that much, didn't cut out filler. He sort of just like leaned into the chaos and you know, did shit that was a little bit more abrasive and chaotic and experimental. And that's my favorite thing about this record. I'm so glad he did it, man. There's nothing that sounds like this. There's nothing that sounds like this. Truly just a testament to how unique of a producer he is. Yeah, man. Also, that title, very prophetic, very like low-key philosophical. All My Heroes Are Cornballs. I mean, we could take that sentiment when it comes to like influences like Kanye. You know, Kanye was a hero to a lot of people musically, and now he's a cornball. Or even to extent like really, you know, influential people like, let's say Mr. Musk, you know what I mean? He acts like a cornball from time to time. I don't think I need to tell you guys that, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very prophetic title. It's like, oh, our leaders, our heroes, they really ain't shit. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's what I listened to recently, and let's see what future me listened to again as well here. Sable Fable by Bon Iver, or Bon Iver if you're feeling contrarian and weird and wrong. This album's like a big departure from the original stuff Justin Vernon's been doing, where he's all depressed and sad in a forest and crying and stuff like that, where he used to make like pretty melancholic, depressing albums that people would like. This is a complete diversion, complete 180. This guy's feeling happy now, you know, he found his, you know, antidepressant medication. It's really showing. There's like a natural soul healing twang on this thing, very southern. You got like some slide guitars with reverb over them, making you feel like, you know, a peaceful leaf falling from a gentle cherry blossom tree in the wind. I will say though, only like 2 or 3 of these songs really seem like Bon Iver, which I'm fine with. I'm not expecting like a 22 a million 2, or I'm not expecting him to go down that route and make the same album every time, but from watching the interviews and stuff, it seems like this is more of a passing the torch moment. Like, he's using a lot of collaborators on this thing. You got McGee playing guitar, you got Dijon doing production, doing feature runs, you got like a lot of this stuff going on. You also got an EP that he released last year making the start of the record, so it's Sable Fable, not just Fable. So he's adding 4 songs from a past release onto this, which could be conceptual and cool, and I think that's how people are taking it. But me personally, I don't really take it like that. I don't want to say it's laziness, I just want to say that like it doesn't strike me as like these two things are intentionally crafted to work together. Like in an interview with Zane Lowe, he said like pretty much some of the beats on this album were just given to him, and he would just do a little thing over it and then send it to other people. Like, he's not really even producing some of these songs. It just makes the songs less intentional to me. You know, there are great songs on here. Like, I think one of the first songs on the Fable side of the EP, I'll be damned if I'm not climbing up a tree, baby. Everything is Peaceful Love. That's an awesome song. But the rest of the album kind of just feels like, you know, I don't know. I'm not coming out of it, you know, completely inspired, or just like, oh, that was a complete regeneration of Bon Iver. It seems like songs he made, which is cool. I'm fine with that. But the way he's talking about it and the way other people are talking about it is like it's some sort of magnum opus of like finding happiness and reclaiming joy in your life. And to me, I just see it as like a cool album that sounds like spring, and that's about it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Maybe I'll revisit in the future and change my mind, but for now, that is where my mind is sitting. So let's move on. Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay. Awesome album, still awesome. I listened to it a bunch of times. Listen to it once more. Again, I wanted to, had to. It's really awesome. I think it's like a new branch of pop. I've said that before. I'll say it again, bro. It's like a new branch of pop. The same way, you know, that the MGMT sort of made their own new branch of pop. You know what I mean? They just happen to be making pop music, but it's not because they're trying to make something for the radio. It's because they want to make some beautiful tunes that happen to have some catchy, awesome flavor. Angel on a Satellite, beautiful piano ballad towards the end of the album. That made me tear up a little bit in the car. I hope that's okay to say and people don't think of me lesser for that. I may be evil, but sometimes some artistry will just hit me right in the sweet spot. You know what I mean? It'll take me down with like a In the Green combo from 2K or something. It will just like, oh, you hit the cry button, bro. So that's that. Also, I think it's Aux Candy. Like, if you play this for people who are just like radio listeners and they aren't really like attenuated with album of the year and rate your music and all that, like if you just play it for normal people, you put it on Aux, it's very safe. It's actually a goated pick. It's not a safe pick, it's a goated pick because it's just so good. Like, you can really impress some new people with your game if they're like radio listeners or something like that. You can impress them with your Aux game with this album if you just press play on that one. Maybe play Killing Time, play Angel on a Satellite if the mood is a little bit, you know, toned down or whatever. Maybe even throw them like a watching TV if you're feeling adventurous, right? And yeah, next album, Terror Twilight by Pavement. Ass. Not good. Not a fun time. This is a band from the 90s. It doesn't really sound like a band though. It sounds like a bunch of people coming together and trying to make songs. Just like limp guitar solos, stuff that sounds lame. The vibes are not there. The lyrics are bad. Anytime they have like a moment that's gonna, like, I think is gonna pan out really good, like the song Billy, I think it was. If you're interested, look up Billy, Terror Twilight Pavement. I thought it was gonna be an awesome little adventure. It sounded kind of, reminded me like some Radiohead stuff, some Jeff Buckley stuff, and then like you get 30 seconds into it and the vocals come in and the instrumental switches into just some like hot garbage. Like, it just completely switches songs halfway through. Like, every time they have a good idea or a good pocket or a good vibe that's like, oh, this could branch out into something, they just take it a different direction that just turns me off. And that's consistently what I got through this album. The why I said like the first word of this review is ass. Like, that's, I don't really know. It reminds me of like a high school band where you have your drummer, you have your bassist, you have your guitar player, and they do make music and whatever, but like like really what they're doing is just hanging out together to drink beer after they practice. Like that's kind of the main glue of the relationship. It's not about like making the music or making something interesting. It's about like saying you're a musician and you're in a band and you drink at night and shit. Like that's kind of the same vibe I get from Pavement. And you know, it sucks because the album cover's awesome. The album cover really gets my gears flowing here, and it kind of fooled me. That's the reason I clicked on this album, is because that album cover is just like, ooh, that grabs the eye. There's something in here, right? And there really wasn't. Every song kind of just sounds the same. They blend together. The production's very flat. It's like it's not doing really anything. So that's my thoughts on that one. Sorry, Pavement. It seems like you need a new coat of cement, right? Okay, let's keep. Okay. Self-Control by Laura Branigan. This is an album from the 80s. Laura Branigan. She's a solo, you know, singer-songwriter, female vocalist, very 80s, pure 80s, like niche 80s, like everything you can think of 80s, like this is the album. It's super basic, super cliche. The reason I listened to this album is because my boy Ryan actually put me onto the single Self-Control, which is the second song, title track of this album, and it was really heat. I was like, okay, this is pretty much hitting all the boxes of like your 80s thing. So let's check out this whole thing, right? Why not? It's just cliche though. The title track and the song Heart, I think, are the best songs on here. Track 5 is like your cliche 80s piano ballad that would play during prom, like slow dance, like, oh, I'm nervous to ask her to slow dance, and this song is playing in the background. Like it's exactly that, but instead of it being like really well done, the piano is so low that it's low-key comical. Like I got like a chuckle out of it. Like it's supposed to be sort of an emotional, powerful like moment where it's just her and the piano. The synths and the drums and the gated reverbs are gone. It's just her and the piano is so low. It's like 12 dB lower than it should be. It made me laugh while listening to it. Like it made me chuckle. So I mean, what does that say? I don't know. I got something out of it. It's still art, right? But not in the way I think it was trying to do its thing. Yeah. Also, there's a song on here called Take Me, which is a very weird vibe, very off vibe. It's a song about Laura begging a man that she's in love with to touch her and take her, and it comes off very let me articulate this. It comes off disturbing, low-key, because the whole album I see Laura Branigan as this really nice, sort of soft, like I picture her as like a nice girl. She's probably really chill. She's making some music she likes to make, right? And this song comes out of nowhere, and it's her begging for this man to like touch her and take her. And the way she's using her voice, it doesn't really seem like it's believable, or it's like it sounds like she doesn't want to be saying it. Did someone ask you to write that? Did somebody ask you to put that on the album? I don't know. Like it gives me a weird vibe of like, that's not you. That's not you. I don't know. It doesn't make me feel very good listening to it. But for the rest of the album, man, I mean, it's your cliche 80s thing. You got your gated reverbs, your gated snares, your giant 80s bass, your synths. It's like it's not doing anything different, not doing anything special, but it's doing everything that you would expect it to do at every turn. And that's fine, I guess. Next album, Honestly Nevermind by Drake. This is a weird experience of an album because people don't like it. And to me, I kind of find enjoyment in it. I really dig Massive. I really dig Sticky. I think those beats are just really awesome to listen to. The first song is kind of hypnotic. The intro into Falling Back into Texco Green, like everything is kind of hypnotic in those first like 4 or 5 songs. It's like, okay, I can get into this. You know what I mean? It's nice to kind of drive to at night. It's nice to listen to in your headphones as you're winding down, like maybe like doing laundry or something. Like that's kind of how I was taking it in this time around. And low key, I was getting some stuff out of it. I will say though, it's long. It gets boring pretty fast. Like after you get past maybe Massive, I think you can cut out 4 or 5 songs in there and then just like hop straight to like the outro and Jimmy Cooks or whatever. Jimmy Cooks doesn't even need to really be on it. I know he threw that in there to like tease her loss and to give people at least some sort of like rapping Drake or whatever after being in a drought for so long. But like I really would love a cohesive like dance album by Drake, because it's kind of what we got here for the first 4 or 5 songs. It's very sleepy. It's kind of boring, yes, but there's a right time and a place for that in my opinion. Would have worked better as an EP, high key, or at least just like trimmed down to 40 minutes and, you know, maybe worked on a little bit more sessions in the production booth. Maybe 40 gets a little bit more crazier with the sampling and the beat making, etc. I don't know. Thoughts transferred. Let's keep going. The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. Everybody knows this album. Beautiful album. Awesome album. The one thing I take away from it this time, it is loud. It's very loud, man. Mike Dean really just amped that up. Your bass will be rattling on like the interludes, like Low Lights, where Donda is giving her speech to the crowd, and there's just this weird kind of interesting like piano bass mix thing that goes on. It's a very interesting album in that way. There's a lot of weird production choices that make interesting tones for moments. And that schizophrenic quality kind of lends itself to making it my favorite Kanye album, I think. It's the one I return to the most. It's the one I think of as the most experimental, low-key, even more than Yeezus, because there's a lot of moments on this album where it's just like low-key, him leaning into himself so much that it's like you could almost use the Peter Griffin meme of it insists upon itself. But I think this is just Kanye just like absolutely knowing who he is and leaning into it fully. You know what I mean? He needed Yeezus to really get up off the ground and make something weird, but this is him saying, okay, I can make something weird. Can I make something Kanye? Like legitimately just like, but with this weird muscle that I've been flexing for like Yeezus. Very bipolar, very schizophrenic, very insane, very crazy, very unapologetic. It's like if you want to put the 2010s into one album, I think it might be Life of Pablo. Like it was kind of the zeitgeist of like the 2016 Vine era and the 2010s by extension, I think. Like it really just kind of speaks to that lyrically as well, like dealing in themes of like provocativeness and stuff and sort of the Californication of society and etc. Like No More Parties in LA, or just like those little spurts where he's like, what are we fucking this Vogue party? It's just a walking intrusive thought. But then you have songs like, you know, No More Parties in LA, FML, Real Friends. Wolves is kind of interesting too, because actually if you listen to Wolves, he's just mumbling for that first verse. He's not saying anything at all, but you don't really feel like he's mumbling. It feels like only Wolves could start with that mumble. Like I can't think of any other way to hear that song. Like I can't think of any other verse he could have wrote that would have been better or more fitting, you know, other than him like auto-tune mumbling. Like it's a weird case of that working for me, like really well. Just a lot of moments that I think are so unique and so Kanye. I can't really deny it's my favorite thing by him, and listening back to it, just really enjoyed it. Next thing, Monday by Quedeca. New Quedeca single, Vanisher, incoming. Very excited for this thing because Monday is whew, I think it's better than Godstained. I'll say that firsthand. He's really getting into his like compositional bag. It's beautiful. It's 6/4. It's lots of layers. It sways, man. There's so much orchestration on this thing. The flutes, the strings. Like there's so much going on here, but at the same time, it keeps it grounded. It's not like an avant-garde experimental mess or whatever. It's not like something like a What's It to 'Em on Scrapyard, where there's like a bunch of ideas and you don't really know where to look or whatever. It's very concise. It knows what it's doing. It presents itself almost kind of like a pop song or like an alternative song. Basically, what I'm trying to say is he's doing something really interesting, but it's also accessible. He's making accessible things. I think anybody could get into this. Like I could show this to my sister who only listens to like, you know, Leve or Sabrina Carpenter, and she'd be like, oh, it's a pretty song. You know what I mean? Like there's no bar to entry so far with the singles on Vanisher, which makes me really excited because it makes me think this might be his most commercially accessible release, also with his like production amped up to 11. Like I think that's just going to be an awesome moment for him if he can really pull it off. I'm really excited for the full vision. Also, just speaking about the song, it's just a winding road of music. Like it starts out so, you know, meek and quiet, and then you get those big building drums, then it goes into some trap leaning drums, then it has that beautiful piano interlude sort of like synth thing at the back half. You know what I'm talking about, like sort of the bridge where it just there's no vocals, it just gets in this very like instrumental section. I love that part. It's my favorite part of the song. You know, I can appreciate I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, even though I don't think the whole scope of the story is as dramatic as people say it is, you know, 50-minute essays on YouTube breaking it down or whatever. I think Scrapyard's really well produced, but these singles, this next album, it might do it to me. So yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Very excited for that. Very excited because he does everything himself too, so it's just an interesting, you know, person to watch. But let's keep going. Saturation 2 by Brockhampton. This album feels like being in high school again, or at least that's what I got from it this time around. I was listening to it, doing some study stuff, walking around campus, etc. Man, it's such a dope song. Swamp and all, like what's the song? Fucking commas up from the outside, I'm feeling the energy. Like I'm feeling this shit. Like this is nice. Like sure, some of the mixes or whatever are like, you can tell they're sort of trying to get this shit out at a certain date or whatever. It's what I don't care. I'm here for the energy this time around. I've sort of stopped being such a stickler grouch about that, to be honest. Like Saturation 2 is not the album where you should be critical about like the sound of it. Really, you should just be feeling the energy they're throwing at you, and that's what I got around from it this time. I got that energy and I was riding it, bro. Sunny is my favorite song off this thing, I think. It's just such a memorable moment. It's just guitar, it's just bells. Kevin Abstract has a really interesting hook. It doesn't really mean anything. I don't really care. The melody's awesome. Merlin comes on screaming like insane. The first like 5 seconds, he's just screaming his verse over the most softest guitar chords ever. Stuff that sounds emotional, like Sundown. Like Sunny, I think, is a really good song to sort of emulate Brockhampton. You know what I mean? They're just sort of being unapologetically themselves over the most like sort of emotional, soulful, quirky, sort of gay beats. And that that is the charm, and that's why I love them, and that's why they're awesome, and I think they've paved out a nice little niche spot in modern internet history. They're probably gonna go down as like a modern Wu-Tang, low key. You know what I mean? Like, let's think about that for a bit. Let's give people their flowers before we're like 50 years old doing it. They create a really awesome era. 3 albums every season. What the fuck do y'all believe in? Why y'all to keep sleeping? I don't know. He says, what is that? Dearly Departed? I don't know. Kevin Abstract. Kevin Abstract's really cool too. Hopes he drops some stuff. The Glue singles were cool. Wish it was a full album. The Big Boy and Tennessee are awesome. Oh my gosh, they ran my summer last year. What beautiful songs. But it's okay. I'm getting off topic. Next album, Vespertine by Bjork. This ran my final study sessions, and it's low key in my head a lot. I played it a lot. I think I've played the album like 6 times over in the last week. Low key. What can I say? Album's enchanting. I'm enamored by the instrumental choices. It's dark. It's cold. There's weird harps and more orchestral than Homogenic. I feel like Homogenic was more industrial and fun and just throwing stuff at the wall in a very creative way. But this album's more intentional with its weirdness. Like the orchestral swells and the harps, like I mentioned, they're more prevalent. They get haunting at some moments, like on the song An Echo, A Stain, where it's combined with almost like drill bass, like subs, like floating in and out, and you get the weird glittering sort of analog percussion hits and kits and stuff like that. It's a very weird mix of vibes on this thing that really come together to create a cold, low-key kind of erotic album. Like lyrically, just very weird, esoteric, erotic. Like you can't really make out what she's trying to tell you, but you do get the vibe. It's provocative. It gets the people going. Like the song Heirloom, very hard to pin down. It's just her repeating the same notion about, this dream she has where her mother and her daughter or her son are pouring glowing warm oil into her mouth while she sleeps and pouring glowing orbs into her body. And she repeats that mantra over and over again a couple times. Like that's just the whole song. You get this weird ass instrumental in the background, and then you're supposed to pull some meaning out of that yourself. So that's pretty esoteric if you want to get into the erotic section of the lyrics, dude. She's talking about like I wake up and he's inside me type shit. Like, okay, we're here. That's the image, I guess. That's a lyric on one of the songs. Also, just like I love him on Pagan Poetry. Like there's themes of love in here. There's themes of yearning. There's themes of a dark brooding figure that she has fallen in love with. That's kind of what I'm getting. There's a figure. There's an antagonist to the story here. It's almost like Nosferatu from the perspective of Lily Rose Depp, the album. Also, the song Undo is something that's very, very, very passionate to me in my soul, because the lyrics are just like, it doesn't have to be an uphill battle. What's she say? It doesn't have to be a struggle uphill. The way she says it speaks to me in a way that it's like, it's okay. Like you've been trying too hard, surrender. Like you're putting yourself through a lot of stress. The meditative instrumental, it just makes me feel okay. It makes me feel nice. I put that on, I'm like, okay, it was a rough day, dude. It's okay. It's not supposed to be a struggle uphill. It's a song that, like, when people say songs speak to them, that's kind of the same thing I get with Undo off of this album. It's a standout. Music can turn me into a cornball like that. It's okay. It's okay. So that's that. Really enjoyed it. Really listened to it a lot. And next album, Views by Drake. Personally, this is my favorite Drake album to return to, at least. Production's great. Lyrics are pretty great most of the time. It's bloated, sure, but I'm not going to listen to the bloated songs, so still, it's pretty great. The windy transitions go a long way. He's painting the scene of the view from the CN Tower in Toronto ting. Hey, you know what I mean? And it works out. It works out pretty nice. I'm getting the vibes. I'm feeling it. I don't know. I just enjoy this album a lot because it's like the perfect storm of where Drake was at in his career. He just came off of, if you're reading this, is Too Late, so he has the confidence from that album. He's still, pretty hungry. He's doing his best in a lot of these songs. Western Road Flows doesn't have to go into that second part, that second hook, where he just completely, raises his tempo and his aggression, but he does. It's really cool. It's a memorable moment. The song 9 is really awesome. Keep the Family Close, the opener, kind of experimental, interesting. Experimental choices all over this thing, too. If you've taken, Feel No Ways, that song is weird to come up with, low-key. I think everybody's heard that song a billion times now, but, to think about, putting that, pen to paper and writing that song and it becoming such a big hit, it's pretty experimental. Those drums are weird, the synths are weird, the progressions, it's a risk, and it's cool, and it's awesome, and the strings at the end, and the weird, synth, oh my god. And, Drake is still putting care into, the melodies and stuff on this album throughout it, even though it is bloated. I wouldn't take, a lot of the songs on the third half of this album. Anything past, One Dance through Summer's Over interlude, we can have a conversation about if we're killing those or not. I think Redemption Redemption is really good, though. Redemption's like a sleepy one. Redemption's on your mind when you're thinking about me. I think it's actually a really awesome song. It's kind of underrated low-key. I love the atmosphere that thing presents. Also, Hotline Bling is the closer, you know? It's not the real closer. I think the title track is meant to be the closer, and Hotline Bling is like the bonus #1 single we gotta throw on to get the extra streams, right? But it does work really good as a closer because it kind of puts a stamp on the era this album dropped. You know, 2015, 2016, Drake era in the middle of like, I don't know, I think of this album, I think of GTA, I think of Vine, I think of Family Guy. They're all synonymous energies in my head. And Hotline Bling being the last song of this album, it's like here's an awesome album, sure, but let's put a period on it because this album doesn't just mark an album, it marks a period of life, you know, where people are growing up. And Hotline Bling was everywhere at that time. And to just hear Hotline Bling at the end of the album, it's like a nice little like, send you off, you know what I mean? You're welcome for the era. And that's April. That's everything. What did you listen to? Comment it or don't comment. Actually, comment it. Give me some more views. Give me some more retention here. I'm still doing these every month. Look at the runtime of this video. Do you know how much Minecraft I had to record and then edit? Put a lot of effort into this shit. Y'all got no idea. It's like 4 a.m. It's like sleepless nights putting these videos together. Subscribe, like, do all that cool stuff. Comment down below if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, keep it to yourself, please. I can't really take criticism. Also, let me know about this combo. Low-key, you guys see that? The red, the black, that is heat. Low-key, don't know if y'all noticed or not, didn't know if y'all peeped, but just had to make sure, you know what I mean? You know what? Cool month. April was not bad. Locked in hella in a lot of different aspects of my life that my person on me is going to keep in my head and share to myself and just feel good about. You guys don't need to know about all the shit that went down in my personal life, but it was a good April for me. Hope it was for you. Hope May brings you good tidings and all of that. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Recommend me some shit, and I will see you next month. Goodbye.